Are you ready for today's story? Today, we are going to read The Nutty Nut Chase. There's the nut. Who is chasing it? A squirrel, another squirrel, a rabbit, a hedgehog. This story was written by Catherine White and Vanessa Cabin and published by Scholastic. Let's see what's going on with that nut. That is not the kind of nut that goes in the ground. Those kind grow in trees. Okay. Here's a little shrew and a little mole coming out of his hole. The Nutty Nut Chase. There's the two squirrels. Oh dear. Look at this one. Is he being a nice, kind friend? Hickory was making rude faces at Pecan when the strangest thing happened. Pop! Look! Pop! Right out of the ground. A shiny brown nut suddenly burst up from the ground. It wobbled and shook, wibbled and quivered, and lay there teasingly delicious. Who likes to eat nuts? Squirrels do. It's funny that nut came out of the ground because that kind of nut looks maybe like an almond. That doesn't grow in the ground. Wow, lunch! Pecan shouted. Wow, lunch and dinner, Hickory screeched. It's my nut, said Pecan. It's mine, snapped Hickory. Looks like we have a problem here. And if there's a problem, they should solve it, right? How can they solve this problem? In a kind way, of course. Who's making that noise? Shouted Badger. I'm trying to sleep. All the animals came out to see what was happening. So now everybody is looking at the nut and the two squirrels fighting over it. My nut! Pecan shouted. It's mine! Yelled Hickory. I saw it first. Did not. Did so. Bob his nose! Shouted Littlest Rabbit. Bop his nose. Should we ever hit someone? No, not even when we are angry. Certainly not. Bopping noses doesn't solve problems, said Badger firmly. It doesn't. There will be a competition, and the winner will get the nut. Is that fair? Have a competition? Like a contest? What's another way they could have solved the problem? Yeah, they could have just shared it, cut it in half. I know, said Hedgehog. The prickliest wins the nut. Oh, now everybody wants the nut. But you're the prickliest, said Pecan and Hickory. So I am, said Hedgehog, delighted. I win, I get the nut. Cuddliest gets the nut, said Littlest Rabbit. I win. Enough, said Badger. We will have a race. First to reach the post wins. Hooray, a race, everyone cheered. Yep, a race. So the fastest one can get it. That way, they all have a chance. Blackbird whistled the start of the race. They were off. Pecan and Hickory shot ahead, but the rabbits were close behind. Hedgehog tried to run, but only managed to waddle. In a huff, he curled himself into a ball and rolled full speed down the slope. Hey, was rolling allowed? I thought this was a running race. Littlest Rabbit looked back to see Prickly Ball spinning towards him. Oh no, that prickly ball is going to smash into him and hurt him. Look out! he called too late. Hedgehog crashed through the racers like a cannonball, and everyone landed in a prickly heap. "Oh dear," tutted Badger. "We'll have to start again, and prickly cannonballs aren't allowed." So I guess if he wants to participate, he has to follow the rules and run too. Hedgehog snorted and sulked off. He didn't like being told what to do. Sometimes we don't like being told what to do, and we feel sad about it. Blackbird whistled, and they were off again. Pecan and Hickory were neck and neck. "My nut!" shouted Pecan triumphantly. "I win!" "No!" shouted Hickory. "It's mine! I win!" Suddenly, the nut began to move. It twitched, twitch. It jerked, jerk. It joggled, joggle, joggle. It jiggled, wiggle, 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 until plop, it disappeared down under the ground. "It's a magic nut!" shouted littlest Rabbit. "Nutty magic!" squealed the Hedgehog, racing back to see. "Bet it would have tasted magic too," said Shrew. Now they all think that the nut is magic because it disappeared in the hole. Pop! The nut sprang up right in front of Shrew. "Quick, grab it!" shouted littlest Rabbit. All the animals shot across the grass, rolling and shrieking, jumping and hopping, banging and bopping into each other. "I've got it!" shouted Hedgehog, but the nut vanished again. "That's my nose!" Shrew squeaked. So look, see all these holes, and the nut keeps going up and down and up and down and up and down. "Shh!" said Badger suddenly. "Look!" He pointed at the magic nut that had appeared at his feet. Everyone tiptoed to it. Tip-toe, tip-toe. The nut shook. Shake, shake, shake. It quivered. Quiver, quiver. The animals looked in amazement. "Help!" squeaked the nut. "Ah!" shrieked littlest Rabbit. "A talking nut!" "You're a talking nut," said Pecan. "Look, the nut is saying, 'Help!'" Pecan and Hickory bent down and pulled and tugged, yanked and wrenched at the nutshell with all their might. Pop! Out flew the nutshell, sending Pecan and Hickory rolling backwards. And there, where the nut had been, was Mole. Mole shook himself and stood up on his two tiny legs. "Thanks," he said. "I thought I would be stuck in that nutshell forever." Littlest Rabbit put the empty shell on his head. "It makes a great hat," he giggled. "That looked like the tastiest nut ever," groaned Pecan and Hickory. "There's plenty more where that came from," chirped Mole, and he disappeared underground. Suddenly, shiny nuts began popping up all over the place. Pop, 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 pop. "There's enough for everyone," Mole chuckled. "Magic!" shouted Hickory. "Magic!" shouted Pecan. "Nutty magic!" everyone shouted, and they all munched with delight. So instead of more fighting, the mole shared with everybody. He was the kindest friend of all. And there's little Shrew taking his nut with him. The end. The Nutty Nut Chase. Have a good day, friends. Bye now.